right, thank you, Brian. And welcome everyone to this April 10, 2023 meeting of the Homewood City Council. We've got a couple of proclamations tonight, so I'll go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Mayor.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. President. Do have two proclamations tonight. The first one is for April 2023 Fair Housing Month. So whereas April 11th, 2023 marks the 55th anniversary of the passage of the Fair Housing Act, which enunciates a national policy of fair housing for all who live in the United States. And whereas the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, and national origin. And whereas fair housing is a positive community good. And whereas economic stability, community health, and human relations in all communities are improved by diversity and integration. And whereas fair housing is integral to the ethical commitment of members of the National Association of Realtors and the Birmingham Association of Realtors, and is critical to the ability of all real estate professionals to serve their clients, customers, and communities. And whereas discriminatory barriers to equal housing opportunity are repugnant to a common sense of decency and fairness. Now, therefore, I, Patrick McCluskey, Mayor of the City of Homewood, Alabama, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Fair Housing Month in Homewood to establish Homewood as an inclusive community committed to fair housing and promote appropriate activities by private and public entities, included to provide or advocate equal housing opportunities for all residents and prospective residents of Homewood. So that's that one. And if I may have Ms. Springer join me up front for the main event. How about that? Oh, Springer. Springer. Sorry.
Like
Springer.
Jerry.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, we'll take a picture in just a minute. Yeah. So I can't tell you how excited all of us were. You should. I mean, the text messages flying back and forth, and social media posts everywhere. So it was fantastic. So we're so proud. So this is a proclamation for Paul, of course. So whereas Paul Rogers has been editing films for 8 years and won his first Oscar on March 12th, 2023. And whereas Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is only his second film, he previously edited on the 2019 comedy drama film The Death of Dick Long and worked on the documentary You Cannot Kill David Arquette in 2020 and The Eric Andre Show in 2016. Whereas Paul Rogers graduated from Homewood High School in 2003, and after college he began his career working on documentaries at Alabama Public Television. And whereas Paul Rogers credits Alabama Public Television with teaching him about doing work that he feels good about. He's carried that forward and tries to do only work that is good for the world. And whereas Paul Rogers has racked up many other accolades for his work, including Best Editing at the Critics' Choice Award in January, the BAFTAs in February, and the Film Independent Spirit Awards in March. He also received an additional 5 nominations from several film festivals and the London Critics Circle Film Awards, where he was nominated for Technical Achievement of the Year. So now, therefore, I, Patrick McCluskey, Mayor of the City of Homewood, Alabama, do hereby commend Paul Rogers for the wonderful work he has accomplished and look forward to his future accomplishments. So,
thank you so
yes,
much.
thank you so much.
Can I say a few words?
Absolutely, you certainly may.
I wanted to say a few words because Homewood Schools had so much to do with both my children's successes. Paul started in the 3rd grade and my daughter Taylor was in the 5th grade when we came here. And I chose Homewood because of the diversity and the Blue Ribbon schools. And I felt that it was a great place to raise children. And it ended up being one of the best decisions as a mother that I have ever made. Paul is a very complicated child with a weird sense of humor. And he was always a good kid, but in the 7th grade, he got in a fight. So when he got home, I decided, well, we have to think of an appropriate punishment. So I made him read a 432-page biography of Gandhi. And I read it too, just so he would just be a little more peaceful. Well, his first movie that he made in middle school was, I saw him and his cousin they had like diapers on, like with the sheets, and they had fake guns, and he made his first movie, Gandhi, No More Mr. Nice Guy. So his sense of humor has not changed at all since then, if you've seen the movie. But in high school, things really changed for him. He had severe ADD. And it was really hard for, he didn't make very good grades, but he was really smart. And the thing that I loved about his teachers, that they saw him and they let him use the way he could learn. The way he learned was making movies, but writing and sitting and being still was not for him. And so there, a lot of times they would let him do reports where he made the movies, he produced, directed, and made the movies. And because of that, he had so much support, and he did this through all of high school. And he said, I couldn't share the names of the teachers because he's afraid they'd get in trouble. And he also, because of that, I think he went to film school because the teachers really heard and saw him as a person, and they encouraged him in the things that he loved. And being ADD, you have to do what you love in your life, or you're just unhappy. And at the same time, my daughter, I have to brag on her because you're a captive audience too. Her daddy always called her bossy, but her Homewood high school teachers called her a leader. And she just resigned from being the chief of staff at the Rhode Island School of Design. She started her own business consulting all over the world. And in fact, she flies to Qatar in the Middle East to tell the princess how to open a art school. And she just opened her own consulting business, so I'm very proud of her too. And that's because her teachers also encouraged her to speak up, to speak out, and to be herself. I'm just really proud. I can't believe that he won an Oscar. I'm still like, just wake up and go, my son won an Oscar. But I think really what I'm so proud of is just the man that he has become. I talked to him before I came, and he wanted to tell you all thank you so much. He sends his best wishes and love, and he's very honored that you would honor him this way. And I asked him, I said, well, have people just gone crazy, asking you to do movies? Have you read a lot of scripts? He said, I have. But, Mama, I haven't found anything that would bring good into this world yet. And so that is the man I'm so proud of. And you said first Oscar, so that was good. And I'm so grateful that they did go to school here. They became good, well-rounded citizens and bringing good into the world. And it had a lot to do with raising my children here. Best decision I ever made. So, thank you. I'm a very proud mama. Thank you.
So very well. Thank you.
Can I get a picture as well?
Yeah,
I just
absolutely.
been worn by.
Oh, you're age 24. Are you Nicholas?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm so happy to meet you in person.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, absolutely. No, this is all yours.
Oh,
You
that's
keep
fine.
all that, yeah.
With me?
They're here for this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, here, you guys hold it.
Okay.
How about that?
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Appreciate you, absolutely. No problem.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. With that, I will go ahead and call the meeting to order. And we're going to start with an invocation from Ms. Salter, and that'll be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone will please stand.
Bow your heads. Father, I just wanted to come to you tonight and thank you, Father, for Easter weekend, this past weekend, and for what it represents. Father, thank you that you demonstrated your love for us, and that while we were still sinners, that you were willing to die on the cross for us and for our sins, even when we didn't deserve it. Help us to remember the willing heart and love that you showed for us when you went to the cross. Help us to be an example, or use your example, Father, for men and women that we come in contact with each day, and to share your love through us to them, Father. Just help us to make the decisions you would have us to make, and help us to remember that it's not always about us, and it's about what we can do to help other people. We ask this in Jesus' precious name we pray, amen.
All right, if everyone will face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, Ms. Salter. And if you will please call roll.
Yes, sir. Counselor Gwaltney?
Here.
Counselor Gear?
Here.
Counselor Allamon? Counselor Wolverton?
Here.
Counselor Sims?
Here.
Counselor Jones?
Here.
Counselor Smith?
Here.
Counselor Nelms?
Here.
Counselor Andrus?
Here.
Counselor Harden?
Present.
President Wyatt?
Here.
You have one absent, but you still have a quorum.
All right, thank you very much. Next, we have the reading of our minutes from our March 27 meeting. We're going to carry that item over. We'll get to that one next time. Then next we have board vacancies. We have an at-large park board that closed on the 27th. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. We
Okay.
have an appointment to make.
Okay, fantastic.
So that was Todd Minor's position, and he reapplied to do another term, which he is allowed to do 2 terms. And he is currently the vice chair of the park board and will take over as chair when Michael Murray's position is, when his term is done. So we would move to reappoint Todd Minor.
All right, so we have a motion for Mr. Minor. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, second for Ms. Nelms, motion for Ms. Smith, second for Ms. Nelms. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is 10-0. And congratulations to Mr. Minor again. Next, we have the Board of Education Ward 4 position. We've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe? I got 6 on my
1, 2,
list.
3, 4, 5. I got 6, but I need to go do a recount and make sure, because they've been coming in.
We'll check.
At least
Whoever-
6.
Whoever it is, it is.
Yes, so we need to set interviews for that, obviously. Does anybody have a preference for when that might be good? I was thinking next Tuesday or Thursday. Anyone?
Next Thursday. Don't do it yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
right, next
yeah,
Thursday is
Thursday.
Exceptional Foundation game. That's right, that's right. So could we try to set those for Tuesday evening?
Tuesday, the 18th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What time do you want to start?
We probably need to start, if there's 6, we probably need to start at 5. Because we obviously need a little more time than we use for park board, so we
You need
probably
20 minutes or 30?
20's probably good, 20-ish, yeah, 20. I mean, if we get behind, we get behind, but
Okay.
I think probably 20 minutes is a,
Yeah, let's do
time.
20 and
and
that's a couple hours
yeah.
at least. So.
Yeah, that gets us into 7:30 range, so, yeah.
Okay, so we'll try for Tuesday, the 18th at 5
Mhm.
o'clock, 20 minutes each.
Yes.
And then if we have a lot of conflict, I'll let y'all know.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
All right. All right, next we do have one amendment to the agenda for tonight. What? It's still open for 2 more weeks. Yeah, so our next meeting, both the beautification board, Ward 2 beautification board and Ward 5 abatement board will close on the 24th.
Do we have something on HEC we're supposed to do? Is that what you were saying?
No, he's talking about the beautification.
Oh, okay.
Okay, one amendment to the agenda tonight. It's currently on the consent agenda. It's 260323. Request for permission to sign an indemnification agreement for work performed in the right-of-way at 610 Broadway. We're going to pull that off of the consent agenda and send it back to committee for some further discussions. A couple of things have come up that we probably need to discuss in committee, so we're going to send that back to let the committee handle it and bring it back to us however they wish. So with that change, then I would entertain a motion and a second for approval of the amended agenda.
Second.
Motion for Mr. Wolverton, second from Mr. Gwaltney. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and that is 10-0 and is approved. Now will bring us to the amended consent agenda. I would entertain a motion and a second for approval of the amended consent agenda. All right, a motion for Mr. Wolverton, second for Mr. Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is also 10-0. All right, which brings us to the old business agenda, 050323, request to authorize the mayor to sign a contract with Birmingham Jefferson County Transit Authority for fiscal year 22-23, brought to us by Robert Reggett and Melody Salter. And we'll start with a report from Finance, Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met on April 3rd, and after much deliberation with this one, voted 5-0 to recommend approval.
All right, so we have a motion from Finance. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is approved 10-0 and will be Resolution 2350. Next item is 180323, request for permission to authorize the mayor to sign a funding agreement for Central Avenue TAP Grant Project, brought to us by Cale Smith, and another report from Finance, Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met, voted 5-0 to recommend approval of this item.
All right, we have another motion from Finance. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is also 10-0 and will be Resolution 2351. Next item, 190323, request for permission to authorize the mayor to sign an agreement and resolution for the transfer of ownership and maintenance of road segment along Forest Brook Drive, brought to us by Cale Smith, and another report from Finance, Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met, voted 5-0 to recommend approval.
All right, we have another motion from Finance. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is also 10-0 and will be Resolution 2352. Next item, 200323, request to accept community grant for outdoor shading in Homewood and amend fiscal year 22-23 grants fund budget, brought to us by Councilor Andrus and Councilor Jones and Robert Reggett and Melody Salter. And Mr. Jones, another report.
Sure, Mr. President. The committee met, voted 5-0 to recommend approval of this item. This is going to be account 02-03-43200, Federal Reserve, over to the Park Grant Capital Expenditure Fund, which is 02-20-576915. We're appreciative of the money that we're able to get for this, so that's a motion from Finance.
All right, motion. We have another motion from Finance. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is 10-0 as well, and will be Resolution 2353.
We didn't do a resolution at the conversation.
Oh, that's right. We didn't do a resolution?
No, sir.
Even though, do we need one to amend the budget?
I don't have one.
Got it.
I'm sorry, I thought, I missed Monday, but I got the report that we were gonna do it, put it in the budget for next year, so if we need to amend the budget, y'all can vote on one, I can type one up.
Yeah, I can do it.
I misunderstood
They
that.
asked if we needed a resolution.
No, I remember that now.
The next two.
You're right. And I remember it for the next one.
I do know Berkeley is ordering, I know he's moving forward with ordering, yeah.
So if y'all can vote on a resolution, I can type one up, just get y'all to sign it afterwards, just amend the budget.
That's fine.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I
And he did, and you did, Mr. Kendrick, you specifically said, do I need a resolution? I said, no, I'm sorry.
But we don't have any way for them to write a purchase order without amending the budget, if you're gonna.
So I think unless anyone tells me otherwise, everyone was voting on a budget amendment as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Then we'll send it out to you, later in the morning, and y'all can make sure
That's fine.
for both of them. Or was it just that one?
I think it's just, well,
Because we already amended,
It's actually the next two.
yeah.
I have notes on those.
So let's get to the next one. 210323, request to accept grant and amend fiscal year 22-23 grants fund budget for police grant, brought to us by Robert Reggett and Melody Salter, and another report from Finance. Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met, voted 5-0 to recommend approval of the grant.
All right.
okay, and I'm sorry, sir, I was confused. 230323 was the one I told you I thought we were gonna do in the budget for next year, but the two that we're
Correct.
talking about, we did need a budget amendment. I can write those up and send to you after, and y'all just vote. I can
Yeah,
send the
that-
account
that-
number.
So in other words,
yeah.
these are going to be funds out of 22-23, so we need to go ahead and do the
Yeah,
budget.
I
and it's gonna
agree.
be grants
Yeah,
fund,
yeah.
it's gonna be one's federal grant, and one's gonna be
Okay.
corporate grant, and it's gonna be either in the police and the park cap grant expenditures, and I can give you those account numbers before I leave,
That's fine.
but yes.
All right, so we're voting on to accept the grant and to amend the budget.
The grants fund budget, yes, sir.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is 10-0 and will be Resolution 2354. Next item, 220323, request to amend Green Springs Highway ad design agreement with Kimley Horn, brought to us by Berkeley Squires, and another report from Finance. Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met, voted 5-0 to recommend approval of this item.
All right, so we have another motion from Finance. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is 10-0 and will be Resolution 2355. Next item, 230323, request to accept the 2023 Blue Cross Blue Shield Alabama campaign grant of $50,000. And another report from Finance, Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir. Finance Committee met, voted 5-0 to recommend approval.
All right. And Ms. Salter, am I correct that this one is the one that's going in next year's budget?
But I think, if I'm mistaken, Mike, you correct me, but Mike actually called me about this one earlier this week, and I believe we do have a resolution for this one. Yeah, we actually do have a resolution
But-
for this.
But that's a resolution to accept it.
Right, that's what I'm saying, we're
accepting
the grant,
But we're not-
amending the budget.
Yeah, I just want to be clear that
Not
we're
to
not.
amend the budget.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah,
Correct.
just so we're clear,
That's
we're
right.
still accepting the grant.
That's right.
But on this one, as opposed to the other ones, we are not amending this year's budget.
Correct.
We're gonna put that in the 23,
Is it,
24
what is the
grant.
purpose of the grant?
For the fitness court.
Oh, that's right,
Fitness
I'm
court.
sorry,
Yeah, we
yes,
got
okay. Yeah, I remember.
All right.
The adult play.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is 10-0 and will be Resolution 2356.
Now we just have to file it and remember to put it in the budget for 23, 24.
Right.
Make myself a note.
Yes, we will remember.
I'm making myself a note.
All right, next item, 050223, request for discussion of changes to the traffic calming installation on Morris Boulevard, brought to us by Counselor Sims. And we'll start with a report from Public Safety, Mr. Gwaltney.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The committee met April 3rd, and after hearing from those present, we voted 5-0 to recommend rescinding ordinance 2833 and carry this item over for further discussion in committee. The motion was made by Counselor Jones and seconded by Counselor Nelms.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Kendrick, will you give us the first reading?
Yes, sir. Maybe I need clarification. I have a specific drawing that Kale's provided that establishes stop signs in places. The motion, the discussion of the committee was just to repeal the old ordinance. This ordinance does both. Is it not the
Right.
intent?
Yeah, I was trying to say, my understanding of what the committee was doing was rescinding the old ordinance and restoring what was previously there, which I
Right.
believe Mr. Smith has provided to Mr. Kendrick.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
That's correct.
So I want to make sure
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right, this is an ordinance to further regulate traffic in the city of Homewood and to provide penalties for the violation thereof. Section 1, any person, firm, corporation operating a motor vehicle in northerly direction on Morris Boulevard and said city should cause the motor vehicle to come to complete stop intersection of Morris Boulevard with the southerly right-of-way line of Morris Boulevard is reflected in Exhibit A. Section 2, every person, firm, or corporation operating a motor vehicle in the southerly direction on Morris Boulevard cause the motor vehicle to come to complete stop intersection of Morris Boulevard with the northerly right-of-way line of Starrett Avenue as reflected in Exhibit A. Section 3, that every person, firm, or corporation operating a motor vehicle in the eastern direction on Starrett Avenue shall cause the motor vehicle to come to complete stop intersection of the southerly right-of-way line with Morris Boulevard is reflected in Exhibit A. Section 4, that any person, firm, or corporation shall not park a motor vehicle within, on or along Morris Boulevard or Starrett Avenue within 30 feet of the stop signs reflected in Exhibit A. Section 5, the violation of this ordinance shall constitute a misdemeanor and a person shall be punished as provided by Section 1-8 of the Code of Ordinances upon conviction. Section 6, that the chief of police shall erect or cause to be erected markings, no parking signs, stop signs at the intersections and places described in Sections 1-4. Section 7, that the adoption of this ordinance repeals Ordinance 2833, previously adopted on April 11, 2022. Section 8, that the provisions of the ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its adoption by the city council and approval by the mayors, or otherwise becoming law.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments? If not, I would entertain a motion and a second for unanimous consent.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Harden, second by Ms. Smith, and a roll call vote, please, Ms. Salter.
Yes, sir. Counselor Gwaltney?
Yes, ma'am.
Counselor Gear?
Yes.
Counselor
Yes.
Wolverton? Counselor Sims?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Smith?
Yes.
Counselor Nelms?
Yes.
Counselor Andrus?
Yes.
Counselor Harden?
Yes.
And President White.
Yes. All right, so that is 10-0, and now I'd entertain a motion and a second for approval.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ms. Andrus, second by Ms. Smith, and another roll call vote, please, Ms. Salter.
Counselor Gwaltney?
Yes, ma'am.
Counselor Gear?
Yes.
Counselor Wolverton?
Yes.
Counselor Sims?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Smith?
Yes.
Counselor Nellums?
Yes.
Counselor Andrus?
Yes.
Counselor Harden?
Yes.
And President White.
Yes, and so that is 10-0 and will be ordinance number 2863. That shortchanged Ms. Nelms down there? Yeah. I'm sorry. It was Ms. Nelms that actually made the motion and Ms. Smith seconded it.
Okay, it was,
No, it was me that made the motion.
What?
It was me that made the motion.
One, two.
Oh, God.
okay, so it was Andrus and,
Andrus and Nelms.
Twins. Correct.
I apologize. Right. Whew. All right.
but unanimous consent was Harden Smith, and then it was, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
and then it was Andrus
Andrus
Nelms.
Nelms. Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Next item, 240323, request for permission to install a pedestrian crosswalk at Valley Avenue and Beckham Drive, brought to us by Cale Smith, and another report from Public Safety, Mr. Gwaltney.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The committee met April 3rd and voted 5-0 to recommend approval of this item. The motion was made by Counselor Jones and seconded by Counselor Harden.
All right, thank you very much. And Mr. Kendrick, can you give us a first reading of this one?
Yes, sir. In order to provide for the installation of a pedestrian crosswalk across Valley Avenue on the east side of the intersection of Valley Avenue and Beckham Drive, and across Beckham Drive on the north side of the intersection of Beckham Drive with Valley Avenue. That the chief of police shall be directed to install pedestrian crosswalk across Valley Avenue on the east side of the intersection of Valley Avenue and Beckham Drive, and on the north side of the intersection of Beckham Drive with Valley Avenue as depicted in Exhibit A. Section 2, all drivers of motor vehicles defined in the highway code shall yield to pedestrians located within the crosswalk as defined above. Section 3, person in violation of this ordinance shall be punished as provided by Section 1-8 of the Code of Ordinance upon conviction. Section 4, all the ordinances or parts of ordinance contrary to the provisions are repealed. Section 5, any part of provision of the ordinance declared to be unconstitutional by a court of competent jurisdiction shall not affect the provisions of the other provisions of the ordinance not thereby affected. Section 6, that the ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its adoption by the city council approved by the mayor as otherwise becoming law.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions or comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion and a second for unanimous approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Smith, second by Ms. Andrus, and a roll call vote, please, Ms. Salter.
Yes, Counselor Gwaltney?
Yes, ma'am.
Counselor Gear?
Yes.
Counselor Wolverton?
Yes.
Counselor Sims?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Smith?
Yes.
Counselor Nellums?
Yes.
Counselor Andrus?
Yes.
Counselor Harden?
Yes.
And President White.
Yes. All right, now I'd entertain a motion and a second for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gwaltney, second by Ms. Gear, and another roll call vote, please, Ms. Salter.
Yes, Counselor Gwaltney?
Yes, ma'am.
Counselor Gear?
Yes.
Counselor Wolverton? Counselor Sims? Counselor Jones? Counselor Smith?
Yes.
Counselor Nellums?
Yes.
Counselor Andrus?
Yes.
Counselor Harden?
Yes.
And President White.
Yes, and so that is also 10-0 and be ordinance 2864. Next item, 110323, public hearing set for tonight for consideration of a sign variance at 600 University Park Place, brought to us by David Brandt of Freiburg and Wyatt Pugh. Special Issues has already reported this out.
Yes, sir.
I think so. Go ahead. That would be great.
This was actually not from the April 3rd meeting. This was from our meeting back in March, and the committee met and heard our presentation and voted 5-0 that night, to send this out to the full council without recommendation pending the public hearing tonight.
All right. So with that, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. I see Mr. Pugh already at the podium.
Yes. You want to come on? The request is simply to have a wall sign higher than the first floor, which is the limit placed by the current sign ordinance. Wall signs are permitted at the ground floor only. The variance request is to permit a wall sign above the ground floor, which will be top of the building as shown.
And just for reference, well, and I was going to say, just in case this helps you at all, this is the building that was previously occupied by Daxco, and it is completely surrounded by trees on Lake Shore, so a sign on the first floor would not be visible from anywhere, basically, except from directly in front of the building. So the motion is to put it up on that top corner.
Is that where the Daxco sign
Yeah.
was?
Yes,
Okay.
that's exactly where the Daxco sign was.
Okay. Mr. Jones?
This sign hadn't been put up yet, has it?
It is not.
Okay, the crane was there this morning, so I was hoping the sign was not put up.
They're redoing the roofing.
Oh, okay,
and so
okay,
that's what
okay.
went on there.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure.
All right, let me just check. Is there anyone else here to speak for or against this item? And I'll close the public hearing. Are there any other questions or comments from council? If
Is
not,
is it gonna be lit, backlit?
It's gonna be face lit.
And that's all, illumination is allowed in that area.
all right, so I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, motion by Mr. Sims, second by Ms. Nelms. Someone down there?
It's no big,
So is Andrew.
Whoever. All right, we're gonna stick with Ms. Nelms. She
So we're
looked-
doing Sam's now? We're doing Sam's now?
She's on a roll.
She's
I
on a
hear
roll.
Andrew, you hear Nels.
All right,
Sam's Nels, I got you.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that is 10-0 and will be resolution 2357. Even when I'm looking that way, so, because I can't see that far. I'm gonna have to start wearing my glasses. All right, next item, 120323, public hearing set for April 24, 2023 at 6 p.m. for consideration to approve a text amendment to the city's zoning ordinance for West Homewood District. This comes to us from Cale Smith and through the Planning Commission with a vote 9-0 with a favorable recommendation. So we will carry that item over for our next meeting for that public hearing. Next, item 130323, public hearing set for April 24, 2023 at 6 p.m. for consideration to approve a final development plan for 195 Oxmoor Road and 536 Cobb Street. The applicant is Village Creek Development for the proposed redevelopment of the Econo Lodge Motel property as the site of a new mixed-use development comprising a combination of residential and retail uses. This also comes to us from Cale Smith and the Planning Commission, which had another vote of 9-0 with a favorable recommendation. So we'll carry that item over for our next meeting as well. Which brings us to the committee referral agenda. I would entertain a motion and a second for approval of that agenda.
So moved.
That was Ms. Smith and Ms. Nelms, so I wasn't looking that time. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is 10-0, which brings us to other new business. 10-0423, request for consideration of approval of vouchers for the period of March 28, 2023 through April 10, 2023, brought to us by Robert Regett and Melody Salter. Mr. Jones?
Yes, sir, Mr. President, it's my quarter, so I'm looking forward to a fun quarter of reviewing the vouchers. So I've had a few questions, and I need to get with the mayor on a couple of things, but everything was in order, so I would move to approve the vouchers for this period.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion for Mr. Jones, second for Ms. Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is also 10-0, and will be resolution 2358, which brings us to the end of the agenda tonight. Mr. Mayor?
Just a few quick announcements. I did hear back from Robbie with the Exceptional Foundation, and so the game is on for next Thursday at the Exceptional Foundation at 5 p.m. So I hope everybody can make it. Start stretching now.
Yeah.
I know I will need to. And then secondly, just wanted to, excuse me, it's just fantastic news. Through the American Council of Engineering Companies, the Alabama Engineering Excellence Award for Special Projects was awarded to Kimley Horn for the Green Springs Revitalization Project, which is pretty fantastic. So congratulations to Kimley Horn and to our engineering department with Cale and, of course, Berkeley, who had a lot to do with that project. So just, you know, it's gone fantastically, and we're happy to hear that they actually won an award for it. So, but that's it.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask a question of the mayor? I mean, do we get any shot at getting some kids to come next Thursday? I can't be there because I have a conflict, but can we get a high school kid or something? Because I'm very concerned about next Thursday. I just want everybody to know that.
They were very specific.
Right.
They were very specific and no kids this time.
Right. Hey, it's just us. Right. All right, Mr. Gwaltney.
I will set, we have one item on the public safety agenda. I don't know that we need to discuss it this coming week, because we need to make some adjustments with engineering. So I will not set public safety for this coming week. And Councilor Harden, don't don't reduce the credit. I know you can get out there and dunk. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Other than that, I have no comments.
Thank you very much. Ms. Gear?
I do not have any comments tonight, thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Wolverton?
Are we ready to talk about the item that we sent back next meeting, or is that?
No, I think we're
Okay.
ready.
Okay.
I don't know of any reason not to.
And then property owner or applicant needs to be present? Is that right?
Ideally, yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know who's communicated with her in the past.
I think Cale has, so we'll let him do it.
Okay. All
Are you
right.
setting it after finance
Yes, ma'am.
on the 17th?
Mhm.
Okay.
I think that's the big thing. And then we got several birthdays. First of all, Carlos is not here tonight because it's his mom's birthday.
That's right.
She's much younger than I thought she was. So they looked like they were having a good time. My dad actually came over this weekend. We had Wesley's birthday party this weekend. Brian, if you can. So, and we had a new household pet that appeared during spring break, brought to us by a Homewood resident and Birmingham police officer who was looking to rehome. Bodie is his name. So we got my dad to actually hold on to him. But my dad's birthday is today. Wesley's birthday is actually tomorrow. So he missed the cutoff by, I think they're 12/17 is when Wesley was born. So he just barely missed sharing birthdays with my dad. But we had a good weekend, Easter weekend. Hope everybody else did as well. We also got to attend last week the Neighbors reopening, new ownership. It was a good time. They've added some things to the menu. They've added shakes and bulk candy as well. So I want to wish the Walkers luck as they open and embark on that business adventure. They actually live in the house right next to the property, so I think it couldn't be any more convenient to where they are. And then lastly, I don't know if do we have an insurance policy for cyber attacks?
Yes, we did.
Okay, I thought I rememred us talking about that.
Yes,
President,
we
let us
absolutely
know,
did.
do we have
I
Yes,
thought
we
I
do.
remembered
I can
discussing
assure you
that.
we
do.
And I wish that my employer did, because in case you guys missed it on the news, the school system has been, the network's been down for over a week now, and it's been quite cumbersome trying to get testing finished up, ACAP testing, and then
Just
just
be
trying to
clear,
get basics.
Not school
Homewood
system.
schools,
Before
yes.
we send people into
Jefferson County
a
schools,
frenzy.
correct.
Not our school system.
Correct, sorry. So, it's been, I'm glad that we have one in place. I was just wanting to make sure that we clarified that, so, because it has not been a fun, week and a half, so. Anyway, I think that's it. We've got a committee set for after finance. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I remember President White saying something to me and Robert about that's non-negotiable, make it happen.
Yeah.
That's exactly, it is not
You-
negotiable.
you don't get
It is
that-
a can't live without
You don't
item.
get that direct very often with us, but you said that, you gotta make that happen.
That's right. Mr. Sims?
Thank you. Just wanted to update that the Beautification Board met today for their April meeting, and we talked about a couple of things. One was the recap of the Beautification Award given to Norris back in March, and it was really a great tour of the space, and they've really done some great improvements both inside and out during that redevelopment of that property. I invite all y'all to go check it out if you haven't already. They actually also have some community space there that can be rented out for like strategic planning meetings type things. So it was really a great tour, and we're happy to award that to them for the past quarter on behalf of the Beautification Board. Also, the creek cleanup this past Saturday was a rain out. We're trying to reschedule it for this coming Saturday, April 15th. So just spread the word on that if you're interested. There should be new information coming out soon. And also the street cleanup scheduled for Earth Day on April 22nd. As Councilor Wolverton referenced, we also have an open Ward 2 position, but we do have a candidate who's applied. But if anyone else is interested, that closing date on that application is April 24th. So with that, just also want to thank Berkeley and Fletcher for meeting with the beautification board prior to their normal meeting, just to discuss some things like hang baskets and gateways and other projects that we collaborate with them on. I just really appreciate the Public Works team and Parks in collaboration with some of the efforts of the beautification board. And so just, again, just want to say thanks to Berkeley and his team for everything they do. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you. Ms. Smith?
Yes, Mr. Jones had to leave to catch a flight, so we will be having finance at 5. And then I'm going to set special issues for after Public Works. And the Homewood Historic Preservation Committee is Commission is supposed to meet tomorrow night on the 11th, but the public notice forgot to get that sent. So it's going to be next Tuesday night, the 18th, upstairs at 7 o'clock. So I'll probably miss that for interviews, but either way, that's when they're going to meet. And there was one other thing that I had to say, and I can't remember what it was. All right, that's it.
Thank you very much. Ms. Nelms?
I don't think I have anything. Just want to say that Zoe's birthday, 20th birthday, was yesterday on Easter, which was the best feeling to have. You know, all the birthdays are great for the girls, but it was just really special because she wasn't here. And so since she shared a birthday with He is Risen, I decided to take that as a big old blessing and that she's happy and just to celebrate and be thankful it was on Easter. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Andrus?
I do not need to set P&D. I do want to say thank you to Commissioner Ammons for the grants that he has given us to do some great projects. He's always so helpful and willing to help us out, and he's just been a great commissioner, and I want to say thanks to him. I will be going on Wednesday to the ribbon cutting, groundbreaking, press conference. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's for the Northern Beltline. So we will be building, I'm going on behalf of the Jefferson County Councilor Coalition. The Mayor's Association will be there, and then Gary Palmer will be there, and Governor Ivey, for a 10-mile segment that they will be beginning for the Northern Beltline. So that will be connecting Pinson to Gardendale. So the event will be at Gardendale Civic Center. Mayor Hoagland is the host. And anyway, it's pretty exciting stuff. The economic development that comes with a major interstate is unreal. So really excited for that project to get going again. So.
And you do not need to set.
Oh, I said that at the beginning.
Oh, did
Did not
you?
need
Sorry.
to set P&D. Yep, I do not. Nope.
Okay. Mr. Harden?
I'll make it brief. I will not be here on Thursday to get in that battle. I have a fundraiser that we bought a table for that I have to go to. So the only other thing is we had our junior in college traipsing around Europe for the last 3 months, and he did make it back safely. I'm just not sure where the money's going to come from that he spent. But anyway, so we're glad to have Michael home. That's it.
All right. I've just got one note. The city manager meeting, city manager committee meeting will be on this Thursday at 5:30, back behind us. Just to kind of let everyone know, we see the finish line in sight. So I don't know exactly when it's going to be yet, but we definitely see it. So probably sometime in the next couple of months, we will be coming back to report our findings to the council. So be thinking about it because it's coming soon, but we don't know exactly when yet. But we are getting close. So with that, I will go ahead and adjourn this meeting, and we'll see everyone in a couple weeks.